Folks, Donald Trump just put Maine and the Maine governor in her place and got a huge win for protecting women in women's sports. That's what this is all about. The radical left's agenda to neutralize women's sports. They want to make it transgender women in women's sports. But the governor, Janet Mills, and the University of Maine system tried to push back. Obviously, we've got a very famous video from Trump's first administration here where there was a little spat between the two, talking about how we're going to see each other in court, which, hey, I'm all about. Let's take it to court. Take a listen to the initial spat that they had.
The NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine?
Well, I'm here.
Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one.
Very famous video from Trump's second administration. Within the first couple of weeks, this happened, and it's all over a simple question. Should biological men be able to compete against women in girls sports? We all know it's unfair, it's unsafe, and it trashes the integrity of female athletics. If you're going to allow that, you might as well not even have female athletics. You might as well just have one athletic program for all. But Governor Janet Mills, Maine's extremely liberal Democrat, thought she could defy him. Big mistake for the state of Maine. They know if you're getting federal funding from the state, it is now the policy of the United States government, the federal government, this is federal law, that if you are promoting or allowing this nonsense, this mental delusion to occur, you're not going to get federal funding. And so for weeks, she's been feuding with the president, clinging to this woke idea that trans-identifying students belong in women's sports, which is ridiculous. You know why? Because 80% of Americans do not support that. 80% of Americans support President Trump on this. She does not have the support of even her own party on this. Even the majority of Democrats don't agree with this. But for some reason, the Democrats are being forced to choose. Instead of agreeing with Trump on something that's right, they're picking the 20% of an 80-20 issue. And, Trump hit Maine where it hurts. He hit him in the pocketbook. He threatened to yank federal funding from the state until they got in line. And USDA stepped in, paused money to the University of Maine school system, which is 8 public schools that depend on these dollars. That's how you do it. This is leverage. Using the leverage that the federal government has to protect women's rights. And Janet Mills and her crew, they really didn't stand a chance. We knew they would buckle under pressure. We knew this wouldn't last long, but we knew that they'd put up a fight. And like we said, this week, the University of Maine system is waving the white flag, and they've agreed to bar biological males from women's sports. And USDA says it's all about, quote, protecting equal opportunities for women and girls to compete in safe and fair sports, which this is exactly what we've all been talking about the entire time. The Trump administration called it a Title IX violation. You know why? Because it is a Title IX violation. Even though the Democrats and liberals want to pretend like it's not, women deserve their own space. Women deserve to have their own sports, not a mixed up free-for-all where that is not a good system. If we wanted a system of actual equal opportunity, you need to have for men in women's sports, they have to be separate. There are biological differences between men and women. It would not be fair. You saw this time and time again where you had a transgender female, a biological male who is mentally ill, competing in a female sport, and they're breaking these records by 2 or 3 hours, like marathons. They're breaking marathon records for female sports by 2 or 3 hours. They're winning all these in swimming, cross country, all of these different sports. They're beating these records by margins we've never seen before. But funding now is back on for Maine because they're scrambling to save face. That's what they need to do. And although the school system and the governor of Maine, they're all trying to play it cool, saying they've always followed the law and NCAA rules. But sure, buddy, Okay, lady. No, what happened is you were going to lose all your federal funding, so you freaked the FUCK out, and you did what you were supposed to do. You fell in line. And I'm sure they're very relieved in Maine to keep that cash flowing for the Maine's rural economy, for education, for research. And the University of Maine's chancellor sounds like a guy who lost but won't admit it. He knows he lost, but he won't admit it. Trump forced their hand, plain and simple. They didn't do this out of the kindness of their heart because they care about women. They did this because they were going to lose all their federal funding. And Saturday, Trump took to Truth Social and really laid it out. Maine's apologized for Mills' nonsense, but it's not enough. Let's take a look at it. While the state of Maine has apologized for their governor's strong but totally incorrect statement about men playing in women's sports while at the White House Governor's Conference, we have not heard from the governor herself, and she is the one that matters in such cases. Therefore, we need a full-throated apology from the governor herself and a statement that she will never make such an awful challenge to federal government again. Before this case can be settled, I'm sure she will be able to do that quite easily. Thank you for your attention to this matter, and make America great again, Donald J. Trump. But yeah, I look at this two ways. There's two ways I look at this. On one hand, I 100% agree with Trump, where I'm like, look, this lady overstepped her bounds, and she got caught in the crosshairs. She got caught in the crossfire, and now she had to, wave the white flag. On the other hand, this is just Trump 101 trolling. Like, did anyone expect anything different than this? It's like, this is what winning and not letting up looks like. We get the win, and then we're just going to keep the pedal to the metal. Because he's right. Where's Janet Mills in all this? She's hiding. She wanted to go toe-to-toe with Trump on live television, but now not a peep from her. Her progressive garbage ideas got crushed. The state might have apologized, but Trump's right. She should do it herself. Her silence just proves she knows she's wrong. She knows she did the wrong thing. She knows she effed up. It is what it is. And Maine's women and girls deserve better than a governor who's going to sell out their sports for political points. And let's face the reality of this situation. This is not just about Maine. It's a win for every American who believes in reality, facts, and fairness. Women's sports are for women, biological women. There are two genders. Trump gets that, and even if the left doesn't, I should say, most of the Democrats agree there are two genders and men shouldn't be allowed to compete in women's sports. But the left, the crazy left, the radical left, and the politicians, they don't get it, or they just do it because is it about Big Pharma? Because they know Big Pharma makes a lot of money from this? They make a lot of money from transitioning children? It's like, well, where's the money coming from? Why are the Democrats not backing this? When America supports this 80%, there has to be some other factor that's stopping them from supporting it. But Trump used the federal power to protect our daughters, our sisters, our wives. And this is leadership we all should be cheering for. This is a victory we all should cheer for. Left, right, center, we should all be cheering. Mills and the University of Maine cave-in shows the woke agenda is crumbling. When the woke agenda meets a real resistance, they crumble. Because they're a paper tiger. And think about this. The governor claims to champion women, but she was ready to let mentally ill men take their trophies, take their victories, take their dignity. Title IX is supposed to guarantee equal opportunity. That's how it works. But when girls can't get a win on a level field, this is what it's there for. But Biden, what Biden wanted to do was make it so that schools would be punished if they didn't allow mentally ill men to play in female sports. Trump saw it through this nonsense, fixed it, and the left's just mad because they can't twist the rules anymore. And for Maine, it's back to business. Funding is back intact. Women's sports are safe for now, because we know the second that there's a crack or an opportunity, the Democrats are going to take it. And, good luck. Good luck to the Democrats. Democrats are going to keep doubling down on these horrible policies, they're going to continue to lose elections. Maine's conservative voters and independents are watching, and the Democrats are watching. There are disenfranchised Democrats that are watching. They will remember who fought for their values and who folded. So, folks, this is what winning looks like. Trump took on Maine's liberal elite, came out on top, women's sports are protected, common sense prevailed, and the left should be on notice with their woke agenda. We're still waiting on an apology from Mills, but I'm not going to hold my breath over that. But the message is clear. America is back. Trump is back. Trump is leading the charge. So that's going to wrap things up for today, folks. We will catch you next time. Drop down below, hit that subscribe button.